I was fine in the morning. I go in an exam room and I get sick. So I asked them to say, can I please go back? I think I'm feeling better. Can I please go back and write the exam? No, the exam has like gone 1 hour, 30 minutes. You can't go back. So I was like, no, you have to let me go back to write the exam. I can't. I have to go back. The examiner is like, no, we'll just have to start giving her more time, whatnot. She will write another exam. She will write. Like, the man just refused. So they took me to the examination office. They got my ID, they photocopied. They're like, no, we'll give you another exam. I'm like, when? No, we'll call you. They then got my phone number. We'll call you. I'm like, fine. I'll take your word for it. So I go back home in shock. I call my mom. I'm like, this is what happened. My mom is like, how? Like, I don't know. I just went in there and I got sick. It was hard to explain. I was fine. No, you didn't eat. I ate twice. Because I ate at home and then I was going to my friend's place to go and do a bit of revision. I also ate there and I went to write the exam. I was fine. I don't know what happened. And she was like, anyway, let's wait for them to tell you when you are writing your exam, blah 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 blah. I'm like, fine. So I continue learning. I'm like, well, since when I write this exam I was supposed to go in second year. So I went in second year and I started taking the second year chemistry courses, right? Because now I'm waiting for them to call me to write the exam. 2 weeks, they're quiet. 3 weeks, nothing. 1 month, nothing. 1 month, mom is starting to get worried. No, please go and follow up the exam. She kept telling me and I kept telling her, they'll call me. She's like, no, they won't until you follow them up. I go there, no one wanted to attend to me, whatnot. It was just a mess. Like, wow. So I called my mom and I told her this is what's happening. And then she's like, no, I think we need to calm. This issue is getting out of hand. We need to calm. So that's how my parents came that very week. So we went to the first office. That was the registrar's office. Explained everything from the beginning, from how I wrote an exam and whatnot. And she started explaining, no, so the rules, started showing them the rules. The rules don't allow you to write an exam if you haven't passed the one from the previous semester, blah, 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 blah. She talked. And then we're like, okay, fine, we get that we won't be given those results. But this is what happened when I was repeating the course. I got sick, blah, blah, blah. And I was told I was going to be given another exam. What's the way forward on that? No, that's not my area of whatever. You have to go to this office. They will tell you what to do. Fine. We go to the other office. That's the examinations office. We explain for them and they remember me. Oh, this is the girl who got sick during the exam. Yeah, we do remember you. But unfortunately, the dean said we can't set an exam for just one person, so you have to repeat the course. I was like, I lost it. I looked at the woman in the eyes and I'm like, you promised me. I begged you to take me back in that exam and let me write. You promised me. Like, you guys, I'm getting emotional. Like, you promised me. How are you telling me this to my face right now? You told me you were going to give me another exam. And I'm looking at my parents, like, they are quiet and like they are taking it. They're like, fine, this is what the score said. I think they just saw that these guys won't change their mind. But there was a part of me that was just hoping they just feel pity and say, no, we're going to give her another exam. She's cried. I cried. I'm like, you promised me you would give me another exam. What not what? They're like, no. They're like, maybe try the dean's office because we get instructions from there. What not what? And my mom is like, no, the dean will say the same thing. I'm like, no, let's go to the dean's office and try. We go to the dean's office. He's there. And we greet each other. We explain for him the situation again. And we tell him everything from the beginning, from how I wrote the exam, how I was meant to redo the course. Maybe he's going to understand. And he was sympathetic. He was like, I'm so sorry you went through all that. I think the rules were not clear enough. I think initially we were not even supposed to register you for second semester without you passing. And I'm like, yes, because I had all my registration forms which indicated that I could proceed and take 2 courses at the same time. So I think they made that rule, but they didn't change their registration system, because you were still able to register even without passing. Yeah, and I brought all that out. I'm like, honestly, you made the rule, but you didn't implement it, and you only implemented it after the results came out. That's when you are now telling me, no, you can't write, you can't proceed because this and that. And I explained for him. I was like, just, I know the rule says what it says, but if the results are there, what is so difficult about just printing them out, giving them to me, and just making me proceed? Like, what's so difficult about that? And he was like, no, it's a whole board of directors of people who have to sit to approve a decision. And I assure you, if you follow this app, you could actually win if we even go to court, because we allowed you to sit for the exam. We gave you an exam slip to sit for the exam. We produced your results showing that you had passed. Even the rules, we didn't give them in a way as to say these are the consequences if you sit. Like, the rule was just plain. It had no binding. I don't know how lawyers say it, but it had no binding situation to say if you write, you like it just had no glue to hold it, honestly. He was like, you would win, but it would take you a long time. He was like, you are still young, you can still repeat. Like, he decided to make it a parental talk. He told my parents, no, she's so young. I think I was what, 21, 20, I don't even know. She's so young, she can just repeat the course, because if she starts following this app, it might even take a year for these people to decide to sit. This is a bunch of doctors who are busy. For them to just decide to sit and say, oh, we have an issue, it would take a very long time. They would approve, yes, if they sat, but to get them to sit is the problem, right? And my parents are like, yeah, that's true. He even apologized, no, on behalf of the school, we are so sorry, what, but we can just ask you to repeat. Okay. And my parents were like, yeah, no problem, that's fine. She's going to repeat. Fine. We walk out of that office and my parents are like, so the decision has been made. This semester you're going to take one course, which is chemistry. Until you pass it, you're going to start the CS. You'll be given a makeup if there's anything that hasn't been written. You will start writing. You will start chemistry alone. You will take this course alone. And I'm looking at them, I'm like, yeah, sure, I will do that. But in my heart, I'm just like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. And they left. I went back home that day. It's like, I got depressed part 2. Now it hit home. I failed myself, I failed my parents, and everyone that was rooting for me, if at all there was anyone. It wasn't such an easy thing to take, Staying in a boarding house also had its effects, because everyone I was with, everyone I was hanging with, no one had similar issues. So it sounded a bit exaggerated that every time I was the one complaining about the same thing. Every time I was the one talking about how something has happened to me. Like, no one could relate, you understand? So it was like nothing for everyone. Even if I had to be upset about it, cry about it every day, no one would understand, because they didn't relate going through the same thing. Everyone was just passing, going to the next stage. My friends were now in second year, and then there was me, who was still battling with a course from first year and past courses from second year. It was now messed up. Like, I had courses in second year I had passed, which were given to me. Those were the biologies, because they have nothing to do with chemistry. But they were like, no, chemistry, you will not take any chemistry courses until you pass this one. I was broken. Now it became worse. I used to cry every day without anyone noticing, of course. If I felt like crying, I would leave the house, pack a chitenge in my bag. It's weird that only maybe 2 to 3 people know about this, because I didn't even talk about it afterwards. I would pack everything in my bag and go sit. There was this where I used to stay, the boarding house I stayed, there was like a mountain place where there was like these network towers. I would go there, spread everything, cry until I felt better, and I would go back home like nothing happened. I used to go to class when I could. I just couldn't. It was a weird space for me. I started meeting new people. I tried to make friends here and there, but it wasn't working. It wasn't even working. It was in that moment that I redirected my life to some extent. I'm going to talk about this maybe some other time, but that's a whole story on its own. Because I felt like now the devil was doing things on me, like he was playing tricks on me. I wrote the chemistry exam, but I wasn't satisfied. I decided I wanted to change schools. But how to convince my parents? I started applying to different schools. I applied to Cavendish, and Cavendish told me they would pick me to start in my medicine, like my second year medicine, without waiting for my results. They said when my results come out for that course, I can give them, then they attach it to the transcript. But they said they would still pick me to go, and they said they would send me the acceptance letter. But then I closed, so I had to go back home. And I didn't tell my parents I applied to another school until the letter came. Yeah, so I got that letter and I took it to my parents, and I'm like, I've got a suggestion. I think I should change schools because you saw what happened, what. And my parents were like, they didn't understand. They just got upset. Now, I thought we were past this. I thought we all agreed that you're going to redo the course, and so they're like, so meaning you haven't even passed it if you want to change schools. So meaning again when the results come out you still haven't passed it. Like, it was frustrating for them to say they had already wasted money and they had agreed to waste money again, and then there was me who just decided to say I don't want to be here anymore, I don't want to study here anymore, I want to change schools. It didn't make sense. I didn't understand their position at that point, so I got depressed again. No, I was already depressed because I rarely even talked at home. I was just on the low side of life. I became quiet. I stopped talking for 1 whole week. I used to eat when I want. It was crazy. I just lost it. And I remember one day I called my friend and I told her that I didn't want to live anymore. Yeah, I contemplated suicide. Why do I feel like I want to cry? I told her I didn't want to live anymore. I wanted to take my life. Oh my god, you guys, I'm crying. Yeah. So I told her I didn't want to live anymore because I had disappointed everyone. I was a bad child and I was just ready to go. But then my friend encouraged me that day. I remember she told me some very deep things that I haven't even forgotten up to now. Shout outs to you, Tiko. So I told her everything, and she told me really serious things. She said life is not about school. Like, how can you even base your happiness on failure and passing? That's so shallow. And when I think about it now, it's not even worth it. It wasn't. School is important, but it has a place. It has a place. But then there was me, who just decided, because I didn't pass. First of all, let's start from my parents were still willing to pay. I was still going to go back to the same school. They were not cutting off any pocket money or food from me. I was still going to be eating. I had everything. I was given a second chance, literally. But I didn't see it like that. So ungrateful. Yeah, and I just said to myself, nah, I want to go. Like, I've disappointed people, my parents, myself. Let me just get done with this. But she encouraged me. She told me, continue, Mwaka. This is the second chance. Like, she encouraged me. She did a good job. And she told me we're going to pray that night for everything that's been happening. We'll pray for things to change, a turnaround, and stuff like that. I don't even know if I prayed for long. Maybe I probably just prayed for like a good 1 minute and I slept. I believe she did pray that night because I slept. And in the morning, even if I woke up upset, I didn't feel as upset as I was that night. I cried, yes, until I fell asleep, but it wasn't the same. There was a certain peace I felt. There was a certain peace that I had, basically. I don't know how I can explain it. And that week passed. I was still a bit on the low side. I would be upset here and there. Now it became a depression that it was more than school. It became a self-esteem kind of depression, feeling worthless kind of depression. I don't know how to explain it. It became that, and I didn't know how to deal with it anymore because I felt like I didn't fail an exam. I felt like I was a failure. It wasn't like now, oh, I failed an exam. I just failed everything. Like, yeah, everything. I failed everything. 1 week later or 2, I can't remember, results came out. I wasn't even interested in checking them for that course. But yeah, my parents said results came out. No, check your results, whatnot. And I checked. I can't even remember how I checked those results or the feeling. Honestly, I can't remember. But I passed. It wasn't as exciting, honestly. I was happy, but I don't even remember the feeling. But anyway, I told them about it, and my parents were so happy. No, see, now start from here. I remember the speech that my mom gave me. She said, start from here, Mwaka. This is a second chance. Life has sort of given you. Use it. Don't waste it. Start here and prove everyone wrong. She said, you can do this if you put your mind to it. She just gave me a whole speech, and I said to myself that night, I even apologized for wanting to change schools. I apologized for being moody and everything that I was going through, and I'm going to go back and start. And that was the best decision I ever made. I came back to school, and now I was in second year officially. I started my second year. I think I should end this video here so I start my second year journey properly, because it's also not roses, it's rocky. I also went through a lot. Yeah, so I think I'll end this video here because I'm going to cry. So I'm going to post part 2. Let me actually give you a glimpse of how part 2 is going to look like. But then I was back again in the pre-med campus. I was like, why, Lord, how? But then the paper came. I wrote with all my heart. I made sure I wrote. And I finished writing. I left. I went straight home. So I'm going to post part 2. Let's get this video, let's share it, encourage someone who wants to quit, because I'm definitely going to do that at the end. Yeah, tell me what you think about it so far. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. I'm sure you guys have noticed now my energy is like reduced because I've gotten a bit emotional. Yeah, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Let's get to 400 subscribers. In fact, let's get to 500 subscribers if possible. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. Bye.